Yesterday, I asked you guys to vote in my community post for what position I should talk about available players in the second round for the Eagles to target. Cornerbacks or wide receivers. And you guys picked wide receivers. So I am going to talk about the second round wide receivers that could be available for the Eagles to target if they went defense first and wide receiver in the second round. What is going on, everybody? I hope you guys made it through this first Sunday with no football. It has been a drag. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. For those who are new to this channel and love talking Philly sports, you know what to do. And like this thing says, click that bell so you can get post notifications. With all that being said, let's jump into today's content. Today, we're going to talk about what you guys voted on yesterday. I put a community post up saying, what position should I talk about for the Eagles to target in the second round? Cornerbacks or wide receivers? You guys picked wide receivers. That was the majority vote. So I want to talk wide receivers that will be available in the second round that the Eagles could target. And I guess if we're targeting a wide receiver in the second round, it's because we went defense, preferably cornerback in the first round. But you never know what's really going to happen, so you got to keep your draft boards right at all times. Like I said, I've seen a lot of mock drafts having Henry Ruggs fall, and if he falls, I don't care, cornerback, wide receiver, you just got to get Henry Ruggs, in my opinion. But if he's not there, T. Higgins is good, Shalot is good, Jeff Jefferson is good, but I much rather possibly prefer a corner and then get your receiver in a second because there's still great receivers in the second. But Henry Ruggs is a different monster. So what I want to talk about before I get into these four wide receivers I think could be available in the second round. Now, you might have to move up in the second round a little bit, or they might fall to 21 because these guys will go somewhere in the second round. There are three more wide receivers that I think the Eagles should keep on the radar who could fall to the third. Not the late third, maybe early third, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. I'm going to do a separate video for these three receivers, but I do like these three receivers too. So let's talk about them first. The three receivers that I think will pass the second and maybe fall into the third are KJ Hill, Denzel Mims, and Van Jefferson. Three receivers that are really good, but I'm not going to talk about them in this video. I'm going to save that for another video specifically about them three and if we would ever go two wide receivers. But with all that being said, let's start talking about these four wide receivers that will be available in the second round that the Eagles can target. And you let me know which one you would like out of these four. And if you think in the second round we should take a Van Jefferson, a KJ Hill, or a Denzel Mims, let me know in the comment section as well. But let's talk about these four players. KJ Hamler out of Penn State. 5'9", 176 pounds. Let's talk some pros. Dynamic speed, a quick burst, and his speed can carry long. Great route running, separates, and can get in and out of his breaks really good. Yards after the catch. This guy is tough to catch once the ball is in his hands. Let's talk some cons. His size, he's only 5'9", 176. That is little for the NFL. Playing through contact is going to be hard, and he's not a good blocker. Small catch radius, not the most consistent hands when it comes to contested catches. But I will say this, in 2018, Saquon Barkley broke the all-purpose records for Penn State, and in 2019, KJ Hamler broke Saquon Barkley's record for the all-purpose yards. So this kid is very explosive. Jalen Reagor out of TCU. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. Let's talk some pros. The ability to use his craftiness to create space in tight areas. Big play, explosive speed. When the ball is in his hands, he gets a lot of yards after the catch, kind of like KJ Hamler. Let's talk some cons. His route tree in college was simple. Because of the speed, he didn't really need much. He will have to work on minor details in the NFL. Not much of a contested catch wide receiver. Also, physicality is not his game, and he's a poor blocker as well. This kid is another guy who can fly, and we need speed for the Philadelphia Eagles. Donovan Peoples-Jones, out of Michigan. He's 6'2", 208 pounds. Let's talk some pros. Natural hands, good awareness on the sideline for toe drag catches. Displays good ability to drop his weight and create separation at the top of his route. Big play ability when he gets to his top speed. Let's talk some cons. High knee running style takes him time to get to his full speed. Needs to use his hands better at the line of scrimmage. Wasn't as productive in college due to the style of the offense. This guy is 6'2". He still has the ability to go downfield and make a play, but he can go up and get the contested catches. He's your big body receiver that also can go down the field. Brennan Aiyuk. Maybe I'm saying his last name wrong. I'm not sure. Out of Arizona State. He's 6 foot flat, 201 pounds. Let's talk some pros. Big playability with his shiftiness. Gets a lot of yards after the catch with the ball in his hands, and he finishes like a runner back. Real tough. We'll fight for them extra yards. Good body control when tracking a deep ball. He also has a great second gear burst on 9 routes. Let's talk some cons. Struggles to clear press coverage sometimes. Needs to improve his contested catches. And can get stuck at the top of his route when playing against a physical cornerback. This is a guy who has big play ability too. And for him being a wide receiver, he runs super tough once the ball's in his hand. Like I said, almost like a runner back once the ball is in his hands. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of them 4 players. But like I said, if you are a guy who likes a KJ Hill, a Denzel Mims, a Van Jefferson, I'm not saying we shouldn't take them, but I think they will fall later than these 4 wide receivers. With that being said, I want to do a separate video on them, and I didn't want to talk about 7 wide receivers. So I'm not saying the Eagles can't decide to go 2 wide receivers in this draft. I don't know if it will be back-to-back. They might do one early and one in the mid-late rounds, but we need help at the wide receiver position, and we have to get the right guy in. The big body receiver who can go down the field as well, the guy who gets the ball in his hands and can take it wherever you want, or the guy who can fly down the field. So many decisions, but the Eagles got to get someone to pair with Deshaun Jackson. And like I said, free agency, we might try to target Robbie Anderson. We might try to target Brashon Perriman. I don't know, but we need to put weapons around Carson Wentz so we can get back to this Super Bowl champs. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you like this content, smash that like button and let me know what you thought about them 4 players or any other receivers you guys got in mind. First Sunday without no football. My goodness. You guys know what time it is. We out.